Rebecca, welcome to the Ladies of Law podcast. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me and joining me in person. I know this is the rug's exciting thing. I get to be in the pink chair. Absolutely. Welcome to the pink chair. This is all very new. So you are a law cost draftsperson. Yeah. Let's make a little start with you telling me what exactly that is. And that's what everybody wants to know, because when you tell people, they all go, what does that mean? And so I suppose if we sort of strip it back and go back to basics, when a solicitor or a lawyer has conducted a case, that case has costed money in terms of how it has gone through the process, the litigation, etc. And a law cost draftsman breaks down in pounds and pence in great detail how much that case has cost.
Yeah.
And what it also does is it goes into the great detail of it as well. So it is detailing what's gone on and how much everything's cost. And what you end up producing is something called a bill of costs.
Yeah.
So it is effectively producing at the end I suppose, a really big receipt.
Yeah.
That's really the best way I can describe it. And that comes in many different forms. Now, we used to have, or we still have paper bills, and then we have electronic bills. And law cost draftsmen also prepare budgets. So again, very much like the word says, budget, it prepares a plan of how much a case is going to cost, and that breaks it down into each category. So it's called phases, and details what work will be needed and how much that will cost. So effectively sort of assisting solicitors, litigators, lawyers on how much a case is going to cost, and then at the end working out how much it has cost.
Yeah.
And then either going to the other side if there is a paying party and putting that bill across to them, reaching an agreement, or if it's for the client, etc., for the solicitor to agree with their claim.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is a really fascinating career opportunity, and sometimes cost cases can go all the way to court.
Oh, absolutely.
See, like, with really interesting.
Yeah, and we've had, there've been cases that have been in the news,
Oh, yes.
Vardy and Rooney, yes, case, the cost element of that was in the news last year, I think it was. And so, yeah, it is always interesting when those are in the news, and it always makes me laugh at the description of what the costs, etc. But yeah, it is something that if we call it cradle to grave. So it starts from the drafting of the bill all the way through to a hearing. And in between, we have points of dispute, replies, etc., which are effectively written submissions, I would say is the best way to describe it. That. And yeah, going through a process that is set, that hopefully leads to a positive outcome for somebody at the end of it.
Yeah. So you have worked as a law cost draftsperson.
Yep.
And you have also transitioned into a leadership position.
Yeah.
I would love to know what type of skills would likely lead to a really phenomenal law cost draftsperson.
Okay, it's not for everybody, and I think you need to sort of, it is something that is, it takes intricacy, it takes detail. Yeah, absolutely. And it takes patience. I think when you are, those that are law cost draftsmen will know sometimes dealing with papers can be quite difficult, getting a lot of the things, etc. So intricacy and real great attention to detail is needed, and understanding of how cases are run as well. I think that's really important. And being able to detail things in a way that is a reflection of sometimes what happens is you can't necessarily see what's happened.
Yeah.
And having to provide that detail and work out what's gone on. There's some investigation skills that are needed.
Oh, yes, detective skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And so those are, I would say, really important. But it is
it can be sort of extensive. You know, when you've got dealing with a big case or already sort of case, it isn't a 5-minute job. There is a real level of patience that's needed.
Yeah.
That's what I say. It's not for everybody. You know, if your concentration level struggles, it's something that is difficult to grasp. And there's also it's having an understanding of what's translating what's gone on into actually what needs to be put in the bill. And that's produce interpretation of it. And again, going back to that understanding of cases, how they're run, etc. The rules, the guidance, all of that. Yeah. And how that translates and how that then needs to look into the bill.
Yeah. So that leads us really beautifully onto how on earth did you become a Law Costs Draftsperson?
I bet you nobody will ever tell you that they set out to become a law cost draftsman. Everybody has fallen into it, and that is exactly what happened with me. So I left college, didn't go to university. I left college. I was working in a shop, and I didn't really have any big plans. I'd had to leave college because I wasn't well, and I started to learn to drive.
Okay.
And when I was learning to drive, my instructor, my driving instructor, was a solicitor.
Okay.
And because she definitely didn't have enough to do with having a full-time job as a solicitor, she was a driving instructor. And she, on the lessons, she was saying to me, what is it you're going to do? You know, what is it you want to do? And I didn't really have a grand plan. Well, there wasn't a plan at all. And so she said, well, let me see if there's any vacancies where I am. She said it would be in the post room or of us in admin of some sort, and we'll take it from there. So I had an interview, and I got a job in new files. So it's opening new files.
Yes, the very start.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I will say about that job was I quickly was able to grasp what a case needed, what documents were involved, things like that. It gave me a real foundation for learning very quickly what was missing from files, what we needed to get, why we needed to get, all these things. And that first job was how it all started, because it was new files in the cost department. And so I've never looked back. So started in cost, that was it. And then from there, I got an admin job, as in cost admin, assisting a small personal injury department. And then during that cost admin job, they said, do you want to learn how to draft schedules?
Mm-hmm.
And then do you want to learn how to draft bills? And I was terrified. Let me tell you, using Costmaster, which is the software. The software. And I was like, no. And they were like, look, you're going to hear this. You need to know, we need to know how to do this.
Yeah.
And they were so incredibly patient with me, the team. And I was taught with no real pressure, if that makes sense. There was no, because I had that admin job of doing the other elements to it, doing everything. And then so this was on a side project.
Inside
it, yeah. And you know, great people. I had great people around me, and I'll always say that from the very beginning, I was very lucky. I felt like I struck gold with the people that were around me. And so, yeah, I absolutely loved it. And then from there, I went and got, once I was proficient in bills, I was doing them regularly. And I then flew the nest, so to speak, and got a draftsman's job. And that was my first big, because I was away from my driving instructor, Mary. I wasn't with her. And so I made that move on my own. And then from there, that's where it's carried on.
Yeah. So what I would love to know is about the transition into leadership. Tell us about that and how you feel.
Yeah. That has been an evolving thing. Yeah, you know, that just, I think people fall. But I still love it. I still love it. And that's come over years. So it very quickly knew that I wanted to do more. I didn't just want to draft. Okay.
I enjoy drafting, don't get me wrong, I still do it now. But I wanted to teach people. I wanted to make other people's, experiences better. I wanted to help other people. And I wanted to be the best I could be and make other people the best that they could be as well.
Yeah.
And I think that naturally sort of happened when you take on different roles. So I became a head of department. And then I was head of department for a good few years. And then last year, I took the role of heading up what was a new company.
Yeah.
And have flown from there as well. So it has been a natural progression and something that started with just sort of taking responsibility, if you will, a certain element. And then what I found is over the years, I found my niche, I found my area, and then I found my people. And that has definitely been, you don't just wake up one day and go, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, and that's it. It's been something that has happened over time, definitely.
Yeah. I think one thing I've really noticed with you is you really seem to connect with people, with your team, and then you tailor the way that you approach things to the individual. Can you talk to us about that?
We're all different. There's no one,
yeah.
there's no one size fits all. And I think if we dealt with any situation exactly the same, we're not, we're not sort of doing anybody any favors by doing that. Everybody's different. Everybody needs different ways of approaching things, different strategies, whatever it might be. We're not one size fits all. And I think if you start thinking that everybody is exactly the same, you're going to come into problems because
Absolutely.
it just isn't going to work. So very much knowing that different people have different needs and requirements, but again, that has come over a number of years. It's like we're always learning, still continue to learn. Still like we are not done yet.
I think that's the thing I've always seen with you. You are, and you've just described it as well, on to the next challenge. Let's do the thing
absolutely.
Yeah. And I think one of the downsides of that, and I know we've talked about it in the past, is when you are on that journey, it's really hard to stop and actually reflect on all of the things that you've achieved. And sometimes you can go into the space of, oh, but that's not quite how I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Whereas actually you don't stop and reflect on all the positives. You can kind of focus in on the negatives.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about that.
And that's something that I'm definitely learning to do. And again, there's a few there's yeah, absolutely. But that has definitely improved in the last 12 months, I would say.
Right.
Learning to stop, think, reflect on what you've done, and actually recognize that you're having an impact. You are having a positive impact on somebody or a situation, or you are doing something positively. And actually recognizing that, giving yourself a little pat on the back. We're not talking about sort of massaging egos unnecessarily. Like, this is definitely giving people credit, giving yourself credit for dealing with situations or bringing people on or whatever it might be.
It's something outside your comfort zone a lot of the time.
Absolutely. And again, I think some of that comes from having the confidence to do it as well. And having the confidence to be able to sit there, stop and go, you know what, I did a good job.
Oh my gosh. Like, I only started doing that this year. And it's boosted me massively because every time, so I've tried to get into a habit. My practical way of doing it is when something goes good, I'm forcing myself to stop and go, I did a good job there.
Yeah.
And the mental state that I'm in, and the ability then to I use that to fuel me.
Absolutely.
For the next thing. Yeah. But I'm so gutted that I've only started doing that. But I do it with everybody else. And I know you do too.
Oh, this is the thing. But not with ourselves. We are so good at giving out advice. Or helping other people, flying the flag for them. And actually, we need to be backing ourselves.
Yeah.
And remembering that.
And there should be no negative connotations attached. And I think there are, and there have been, with women generally backing themselves.
Yeah.
I definitely think that is, when you see women championing themselves or putting themselves forward for things, I think there is sometimes people look and go, oh, like, is that, is should they be doing that, or whatever it may be? And like I say, this negative connotation attached, when actually we should be going, yes, girl, well done, and we smash it. Yeah. And that's a real balance to be had with it.
It's hard, and I think it takes time, it takes practice, and I'm going to say it again, and we're learning.
We're learning.
Yeah, I want to ask you something that I really struggle with. So again, I mean, we realized this fairly recently. My standards for other people are, let's say, here.
Yeah.
My standards for myself are off the chart. There is very little room for me other than perfection. And we're human and no one's perfect.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've started to do now is I'm going, when I'm struggling with something in particular, I'll go, right, am I holding myself to my standards, or am I going to hold myself to the standards that anybody else on the planet I would hold to? It's your experience too.
Absolutely. You have these standards that you are not prepared to slip from.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else gets wiggle room. Everybody else gets given room for a bad day, a difficult period of time, or the fact that, sometimes you've got to prioritize certain things. But we don't do that for ourselves. We're not prepared to do that. And I think that, again, is learning that we need to just take a minute, take a moment with it, and just remember, nobody's perfect, right? And just because the bar might feel a little bit lower, that bar is still high. It means, let's not, and then, not just because they're not at least perfection, the bar is high.
Yeah.
And, I make no apologies for that standard being high, but ultimately, remembering that it is so hard. It absolutely is.
Do you know what? That's just sparked a thought in me, and I'm going to take the trail of thought. But we talk about standards, and we talk about those bars and how we set them for each other. I want to talk to you now about difficult conversations.
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes it can be really difficult to have difficult conversations, but I know you and I are quite aligned on the way that we deal with this. So tell me a little bit about how you feel about difficult conversations. Let's start there.
Brushing a problem under the carpet does absolutely nothing for long-term sustainability. Okay.
Yeah.
That, as a short-term fix, may fix things. Okay. But it doesn't fix things in the long term. Holding your hands up, holding yourself account to whatever issue it is, and going, hang on a minute, we need to deal with this, is the best way. We have lessons to learn from situations.
Yeah.
There is never a situation where we can't learn something from it, in a positive or negative, whatever it might be. And so we need to, hold our hands up, hold ourselves accountable, and say, you know what, this wasn't great. How do we move on? Yeah, it isn't about pointing the finger. No, it isn't about telling somebody off. It isn't about making somebody feel uncomfortable, but it's about reflecting on a situation and going, you know what, we hope we were wanting better.
Yeah.
What can we do next time? How can we avoid this happening?
Yeah.
Not having issues dealt with, all it does is it snowballs in a different way. It manifests in something that's a lot uglier and a lot worse than it would have been if actually at the beginning would have gone,
let's pause and nip it in the bud and we'll figure it out together.
There is nothing, and I always say this to the team, I genuinely don't believe there is anything we can't deal with.
Yeah.
It might feel like it's that individual at that time.
Yeah.
Or whatever it might be.
Because again, they'll be holding themselves essentially to those standards that are way above where they would, hold people.
And if, you're anything like me, you'll catastrophize, you'll go, now always think the worst. And actually, it's somebody to take a step back and go, hang on a minute, we can deal with this. We can learn from it, but we can just make sure it doesn't happen again.
Absolutely. And then we all move on, right?
That's it. Enjoy the learning.
I think that one of the things that you've done so beautifully is you've created such a safe environment for your team. Which helps. I mean, how I feel like this. Yeah, I think that helps massively though for people who might be feeling, oh, I don't know if I should mention this or not.
Some, I'm sure it's something again that we'll mention in perhaps a different form, but communication.
Yeah.
If communication is there, then for me, anything can be solved, as long as that communication's there, as long as that, that discussion is happening, that's there to be able to have, whether it's conversations, whether it's holding your hand up to something, whether it's saying, oh, this doesn't feel quite right, or I've done this and I know I've done it right, but I didn't understand how it was right, or what do I need? Do you know what I mean?
A constant learning journey.
Absolutely.
It's okay to be on it. You don't have to kind of stop at any point and go, right, I should know everything now. Maybe I'm a senior lawyer and I should know everything. Yeah, it was just not true. Like there's so much that always constantly evolving and learning.
Yeah.
Never ends.
No,
It never ends.
absolutely. And I've got team leaders in my team now, and they are absolutely brilliant at holding their hands up and going, can I get your opinion on this?
Yeah.
Like, love that. I know this. I've got, they've got so many years experience, but actually, can I get your views on it?
Yeah.
Just to see. And I absolutely love that they feel safe enough to go, it's not that I am admitting I don't know something.
Agreed.
It's showing a level of vulnerability that they want some reassurance or they want some guidance or something. And ultimately, we've all got so many years experience and we've each got experiences of different things. And so we can all add something to the table. I had a conversation with one of my team leaders the other week who asked for an opinion on something. And she said, you know what, I hadn't thought of it like that. Great, thanks.
Yeah.
It was just able to bring another perspective. What she'd done wasn't wrong. There was nothing wrong with it. Or she just
Gets her another layer, doesn't it? On top of everything else.
yeah. So it is having that safe space. I hope everybody feels like that. I hope that that's what it gives you. Because for me, that's really important. And I want team members to feel like they are safe enough to also put the hand up and say, hang on a minute, something's not right.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
what about this? I want them to have ideas. I want them to come up with better things. I always say, if there is something that you think we can do better, do not be afraid to bring that on. Bring that to the table, because I don't know everything and I would love to hear other people's views. We might not be able to do it for other reasons. You know what I mean? There might be a situation where there are different things going on behind the scenes, or there's a bigger picture to things that mean that that's not right.
Yeah.
But I want to hear it. We want to see.
And in return, your team must just feel so valued and feel that they are growing and progressing and they're working towards things. And I just think sometimes that can be really undervalued and underestimated. But what happens when you've got a team of people that are all moving in the right direction for them personally and for the business professionally, you achieve some phenomenal things. And you are testament to that, lady. I'm going to tell you. I am so proud of it. I am so proud. And I can see it in your face. Because you've got the biggest screen. There's all the right people, and I completely get that.
I am so proud of them. We started last February with 3 of us, and there are 9 of us. I hate the number 9. We need a 10.
Yeah.
It's just what I'm happy. Yeah. But to be in that position in 14 months, that's incredible. And we talk about leadership, we talk about people that are in charge, but that's not what this is. This is not because of me. This is not because of Paul. This isn't because of any of that. This is because I've got the best team behind me that are running through brick walls for me, and I'm running through brick walls for the company, because they want to be the best.
Yeah.
They want to be the best for our clients.
Yes.
They want to produce the best work for the clients, and they care. And that to me is really important, is having that there. And what that means is that creates this atmosphere, it creates this pull that is this positive effect that just keeps growing and growing and growing and getting to a point where it's successful. You are doing it. You are growing. You are being the best you can be.
Yeah.
And I can only do that. You know, I go out and I have meetings with clients and I tell them what we can do. And I sit there and I genuinely believe every word I say.
Yeah, and they will see that translate straight away.
I believe that what I sell them a dream. You know, I'm telling you, this is what we can do. This is how we do it.
Back up.
And I believe that.
Then they'll be clients for life.
Absolutely.
That just value that as the next level kind of service, which actually takes us really nicely on to the next question, which is how you feel about competition.
Industry colleagues.
Yes.
Like, love that. There is enough sunshine for us all. And I genuinely,
Gorgeous way to put it.
I genuinely believe that. You know, industry colleagues is the way I describe, you know, it to other people, competitors. But you know, I'm a huge believer in collaboration. Okay. I genuinely believe that if, as an industry, we pull together, that we work together. Yes, I understand there's the business side of it. I understand that we have clients, we have business needs, we have, you know, things like that. But there is also nothing stopping us working together, coming together, sharing ideas. We don't need to do things sharky. You know, we don't need to go around doing sharky things. We don't need to be following clients around. We don't need to be, you know, we can be positive and we can work together.
Yeah.
We all have clients. We all are in the same industry.
Yeah. Clients have different needs. Clients have different preferences, and different firms will cater to different preferences. I think what I love about you though is it's very much like I'm gonna get my team doing an amazing job. We're gonna set some amazing standards. We're gonna focus in on everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
And everybody else go do your thing. Yes, we can collaborate, there'll be things that we can do, but the focus is very much on, right, what are we doing? How are we going to do this?
And that's what's important, is what standards have we got? What standards are we setting?
Constantly making things better.
What we do, what can we do better? Where can we improve on? It isn't about comparing us to anybody else.
Yeah.
Because we might have a different setup. We might have a different number of clients. We might have a different number of team members. We might have a different structure. You know, there are all these things that are different. And so when comparing, it's just never going to be right. It shouldn't be. And, you know, I also believe in asking for help and putting your hand up. I've got some amazing industry colleagues that I genuinely believe I could pick up the phone to at any point. I am not surprised at all. Yeah. And know that they're going to go out of their way to help me, who aren't going to sit there and go, well, I'm not going to help you because that's going to help one of your clients at all. I love that. And I love the fact that I've also got relationships with people in the industry who feel the same, and that I know I can pick up the phone to. You know, I'm really close to a number of people who I suppose work for competitors, industry colleagues.
Yes. Or how do you see it?
No, absolutely not.
Love that.
And I'm incredibly lucky to have them. I would regard them in my circle.
Yeah.
And who champion me as a person and also as a business. Yes, they have their own business needs, but they will also,
They want to see you succeed, right?
absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, they might not be able to serve as a client, or they might not be able to do something. And they are the first people to go, oh, well, you know what? I do know someone.
Yeah.
And that means the world, because I know not everybody's like that. And I am really appreciative of it. And I think if we could all do that.
Yeah, God, wouldn't be
Oh,
place.
honestly. And I think people sometimes don't intentionally have perhaps a negative view of competitors.
Yeah.
But I suppose in the legal industry, I think we've always been sort of subscribed to have that sort of competitive edge, haven't we? We've always, but actually, we don't need to be like that. We don't need to be.
Put your attention and focus into what's in front of you, right?
Yeah.
Things that you have got control over.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. So actually, what I'm going to ask you now is, we've not actually known each other that long. Nope. But a lot is on me, like we're relationship was at love. And so ever since I met you, in fact, probably before, I've been a massive follower of yours on LinkedIn. And can you just talk to me about how you use LinkedIn? And I'll tell you my side of seeing.
Oh, right.
Yes.
LinkedIn. So I have historically not really used LinkedIn. To be honest, I've only started using it I would say the last 14 months.
Really? Leadership.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So realistically, and I'd probably before that I'd posted every now and then, but certainly I hadn't been as honest on it. I hadn't been authentic. I hadn't been open, and I hadn't been quite as open and transparent about things.
Yes.
I'm a firm believer that as a leader, we have good days and bad days. This is not all sunshine and roses. All right.
No, it's not.
And I think sometimes on LinkedIn, it can come across as quite polished. I have to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be seen to just seeing the good side. And actually, you know what? There's some really tough days that go on through leadership, leading people, running a business.
Yeah.
And we need more people to be open and honest about it. And I hope that resonates.
Yeah.
I want people to feel like if they're feeling similar, that they're not the only ones that are feeling that. And at the same time, also recognizing what life is like from a professional perspective. What's going on? Where am I? Although I will say, like, some of the most curated posts, the most thoughtful posts on LinkedIn don't always aren't always best received. The best posts are when you're posting about whether or not you stand there and watch the kettle boil.
Yeah.
And that gets the has the most sort of impact on people. But yeah, it's definitely been a tool that I have started using more and more. And certainly came across Helen Burness at Lives, and she came to the Women in Cost conference, and she was absolutely phenomenal, and she is brilliant. And she gives real confidence, I think, to people in terms of how to use LinkedIn. People buy into people.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And
100%.
that is true. And I think, being on LinkedIn, trying to be yourself, trying to show what you're about and actually what you're doing on a weekly basis, what it is that you are up to, and also being honest about the difficulties perhaps that you're facing, that it isn't all sunshine and roses. And also championing my team, shouting about the wins.
Yeah.
Because if I can't shout about them, who's going to do it?
No, absolutely. Yeah. That's why I think that they won't do it for themselves. So we are going to.
And so, that's really important. And I think as well, connecting with people that I just wouldn't have dreamed connecting with.
Yeah.
And, talk about leadership. It gives you this confidence, I think, when you start engaging with people and you start reading more and more about other people and what they're about, etc. And, if it wasn't for LinkedIn, I wouldn't have messaged somebody on LinkedIn about leadership and said to them, they're a managing partner at a law firm. And I said, is there any chance you've got an hour for me to talk about leadership?
Oh.
And despite being incredibly busy, said, yeah, I'm probably going to tell you about the things I've learned from mistakes more than I have anything else. But yeah, absolutely. And isn't that incredible? I love that somebody's prepared to give up their time. Imagine part of the law firm, wow, he's prepared to give up their time for little old me to come and chew their ear off about leadership and give up their time and help me. And that is the power of LinkedIn. That is the power of LinkedIn, but I also think that's the power of you. I think that's a bit of both. I think, when if you're on the receiving end of that email for me, seeing what you're doing on LinkedIn, seeing the growth and development of the team that you've created and all of the things that you're doing. And for me, I see you as my comfort zone started about here. Yeah. And now it's kind of like, because you are just going for every opportunity that feels right and you are putting yourself forward. I mean, this is not a natural thing for you to do, but it's something that you've set out to do. Absolutely. We appreciate it more than anything because I think it can be really difficult not to have a really open and honest conversation and really bring your true self. But it means the world to people to hear real stories, authentic information, and how, we are struggling sometimes, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay. That's okay. Yeah. And also that's normal. Like, let's just get rid of this, idea that leadership has got to be this straight line, that it's, tunnel visioned. No, all got to be perfect. It's squiggly. This time is so squiggly, and it is. And there isn't a right or wrong path sometimes with things, but there is a way that we can do things that, help us and help that situation. But certainly LinkedIn for me has given me more confidence to speak to more people, to have organic conversations. Yeah. There's people that, like I say, I wouldn't have dreamed ever connecting with or speaking to or anything like that before LinkedIn. And I feel really lucky to have those relationships with people and that I've connected with those people and that I wouldn't have otherwise. I love that. I love that so much. But I could talk to you. No, we're so aligned in the way that we think, and I love that. I really love that. I think it's got real potential to create the most amazing communities who are. We talked about it earlier, didn't we? Kind of ride and die. Absolutely. We would do anything for the people we work with. Oh, and they would do absolutely anything for us. And what's better than that, right? I know I would run through brick walls for my saying, and they mean the world to me. And I know that creating an environment that they're happy in, that they're fulfilled, that they feel comfortable in, that they feel positive in, is only going to produce the best people. And ultimately, the best people, then the happiest people produce the best work. So I'm producing the best work, then makes happy clients. It's this knock-on effect, isn't it? Absolutely. And that's really important to me. I don't expect people to, don't get me wrong, I do not expect people to sort of jump out of bed every day and yeah, exactly. But I also don't want them to be fearful. I don't want them to worry about work. I don't want them to be concerned. I don't want them to be anxious about work because that's not what we're about. We spend too much time at work. Absolutely. Yeah. So it for me, having that environment that means that people are comfortable means everything. I love that so much. So we have 2 questions that we ask on every podcast. Yep. First one. If knowing what you know now, if you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice, lady, what would it be? Trust your gut. Oh, love. Always. Tell me why. I think it's really easy to doubt yourself. Yeah, I think it is. And I think imposter syndrome, you talked to Donna about it, is real. It's a real thing. Like, let's not mess about. It is real. And I think when you get an element of imposter syndrome or even just an element of anxiety about something, you start to doubt yourself. Yeah. And you start questioning it, and then you snowball in. Yeah. And you're like, trust your gut. I know now I have the confidence that I've learned over time. I come out of, say, interviews with people, and you can ask me a question: do you want to hire them? And I do want like that. Like, absolutely, because I have learned trusting my gut is right. I can do it. And if I could tell myself anything, it would be trust your gut. You won't be found wrong. I love that so much. Yeah, 100% agree. So, last question. Yeah, you've been an amazing guest. I've loved this. You should do so much better. Who, and this is going to be really difficult for you, but if there was one person you would love for me to speak to for the benefit of the Ladies of Law community, who is it? Okay, you can give me loads if you want. Well, I know I'm giving you, I know I'm giving so far, but if I could just probably pinpoint one person, somebody that's probably I need somebody that I should give more credit than I probably do to, is my business coach. So last year, I got a business coach and made the decision to make that investment in myself. Yeah. And she has given me so much confidence she doesn't give me the answers back. No, just asks me the right questions. And she knows what questions to ask. And she challenges me on them. Brilliant. And she has helped me have so much clarity and so much belief in myself. Why are we waiting to ask this question? Why are we not doing, what is it? We talk through it, etc. And she has been absolutely fantastic. So my business coach, Karen Walsh, would probably... Okay, Karen Walsh, I'm coming for you. Amazing. Well, honestly, from me to you, thank you so much. Thank you for making the massive here. Oh, how gorgeous is it then? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting me be the first in the picture. Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you.